Hey guys, Rolando Rodriguez here with xgains.com. We got workouts that work, eats to satisfy, and everything else you need to reach your lifestyle goals. I want to make a quick little video today concerning weight loss, and specifically an article I came across written by this guy who was lean to begin with and got ripped. Now, to get ripped, even if you're lean by nature or if you're a fat boy by nature, it doesn't matter. It takes discipline, it takes concentration, it takes focus. You got to have your caloric intake, your macros, your hormones, your sleep all in check to get ripped and get ripped properly. So kudos to that guy. But what I didn't like was that he mentioned, I was able to get lean without a single day of intermittent fasting, without a single day of reducing carbs or worrying about my carb intake. No keto, no low carb crap. Here's the thing. This guy being lean by nature, it's not fair for him to call out the fact that he doesn't intermittent fast or that he didn't have to worry about carbs. Because 80% of the world has to worry about carbs. There are people out there that can intake carbs and be totally fine and get ripped and be at their optimal weight. Your body naturally, at its optimal, most functioning level, wants to have a certain amount of fat and wants to have a certain amount of lean mass on it, right? So that's your optimal body. You can find your optimal body by simply focusing on your macros and not really focusing on your calories. I think 80% of the world, as I've said a number of times on this channel, will find their optimal body weight if they go low carb or specifically ketogenic. Going ketogenic is lower than low carb. I consider a low carb diet 100 grams or less. 150 grams is what the mainstream considers low carb because that's what your brain requires to function on a daily basis. But to truly go low carb, in my opinion, you have to go below the brain drain, especially if you're not lean by nature. The guy in the article did actually say that the key to weight loss is focus and discipline, which I agree with. But you need to focus and find what works for you. You need to be disciplined enough to stick to an approach and see if that approach works for you. And if it doesn't, switch it up. Again, kudos to that guy from being in his optimal body weight to getting ripped because it does take more focus to get ripped. You need to both have your hormones in check, which get in check by having the right macros, and you need to have your caloric intake in check, which you just reduce a little bit to get ripped. But those macro breakdown and that caloric intake breakdown and that, whether or not you got to intermittent fast or not intermittent fast, whether or not you need 8 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep, it's individual to every single person. I've been in this health and fitness game since I was 12. I'm almost 40 now. And what I realized since the age of 14, when I first started to help my 7th grade teacher lose weight, was that everybody is different. You have to find what works for you. And I strongly believe, based off of my experience, helping people out, coaching people, getting paid and not getting paid to help people lose weight, what I've realized is that 80% of the world will lose weight if they simply focus on reducing carb intake. And yes, that includes refined and unrefined sugar. That includes whole wheat bread, white rice, brown rice, wild rice. It doesn't matter. Oatmeal. You have to reduce your carb intake. In the end, sugar is sugar. A lot of people out there just reduce their refined sugar intake, simple sugars, and they lose weight. Of course you're going to. So if you lose weight reducing your refined sugar intake, you're going to lose that much more weight if you reduce your sugar intake, period. So you can't just be out there listening to everybody, especially if they're lean to begin with. Here's the thing. I would take being a fat boy by nature like I am any day of the week versus being a hard gainer, a skinny person who finds it hard to gain lean mass. The fat boy by nature will be able to gain lean mass easier than a hard gainer. And I believe it's easier to lose weight than it is to gain lean mass if you're a hard gainer. But the dude I'm talking about that posted this about not eating carbs and not intermittent fasting and just sticking to your diet, That guy was lean to begin with, and he wasn't even skinny. He wasn't like a hard gainer. He had mass on him, lean mass. And he just had to lose a little bit of fat to get ripped. Kudos to him. Still had to do it and focus on it. But not kudos for saying it doesn't matter about low carb or intermittent fasting or all these other South Beach diet or these other diets out there. If you're vegan and it works for you, what I've learned over the years, great, go for it. If you're truly healthy, just because a lean dude says that you don't need to worry about your carb intake doesn't mean that you shouldn't be worrying about your carb intake. And just because a guy who swears by a ketogenic diet is telling you that it's working for him and it's working for 80% of his clients doesn't mean that a ketogenic diet is perfect for you. In the end, you gotta find out what gives you the results that you want, makes you feel as healthy as you possibly can, and allows you to live that healthy lifestyle. But don't be lying to yourself and saying that I feel amazing when you sort of don't. And if you've followed a certain eating approach your entire life and you think you feel amazing, be open to trying something new and truly listening to your body and seeing if that new eating approach or new lifestyle makes you feel better or worse. Guys, I went 33 years eating Cuban food day in and day out. I got on acid reflux medication from the age of 12 until the age of 30 when I started intermittent fasting. And all of a sudden, my heartburn's issues disappeared. And then what I thought was me feeling less bloated because of intermittent fasting and things like that was even less bloated when I went on a ketogenic diet, and even that much more less bloated when I went carnivore. And I still eat Cuban food, but I adjust it to be low carb, okay? You don't know how crappy you feel if you always feel crappy. And you have to be open to trying new things. And then you'll notice that what I thought was me feeling awesome is no comparison to how I actually feel now. So keep an open mind. Kudos to that guy who kicked off this whole rant for going from his optimal weight to his rip weight. But he's got to be a little more aware of the truth, which is 80% of the people out there need to focus on carbs. Intermittent fasting will help fat boys by nature like myself maintain their optimal or just healthy body weight, and it will contribute to getting to a ripped weight if that's what they want to do. It's not a one size fits all approach to fitness, and you need to believe that when you're leaving comments and or suggestions for people out there on how to lose weight. And especially you need to believe that with yourself, because like I've always say on this channel, everything works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, we got to be willing to change. That's it for now. This is Rolando Rodriguez with xgains.com. Please let me know if you got any questions or comments down below. Please like, subscribe, and share to this channel if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate it. The website again is that's the symbol, not the word, gains.com. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.